Welcome back. Welcome back. In honor of this back to school season, I want to talk about how learning is overrated. You're wasting your time. Stop wasting time. Learning is overrated. You need to get into activity mode ASAP, which stands for as soon as possible. Seems like a weird thing for a teacher to say, doesn't it? Learning is overrated. You're wasting your time. Get into activity mode today. That's what we're talking about now. Of course, I'm going to break down what I mean, right? Stay with me. Stay with me. For those who are new to the show, welcome to Hospitality Hacks Pro Show, where we talk about tips, tricks, and tidbits to help your operation run a little bit smoother, your food and beverage operation specifically. All right. We talk about topics related to culinary arts and hospitality. And this is my fourth year going into teaching culinary arts and hospitality at a local high school in Charlotte, North Carolina, and I am excited. All right, congratulations to the parents who made it through the summer. I know you're excited. You either are starting soon or have already, your students have started school. So good for you. I know you're feeling good, right? It's time. Go on back. We did the summer camp and the activities, and you ate up everything in the house, and you got on my nerves, and you played the video games, and you did all the things. Go on back to school. Now, let's talk about this, folks. Let's break this down just a little bit. What do I mean? Learning is overrated. What do I mean? I love to learn, by the way. I love to you see these books behind me if you're on the YouTube experience. I love consuming books. I love listening to podcasts. I love having intellectual, high level conversations with people who know more than me about a particular topic so we can engage in dialogue and trade ideas. And I can leave the conversation thinking, you just taught me something. I just learned something right then. I love it. I love to learn, but at a certain point, activity is necessary to just seal in that learning. You got to do something, y'all. You got to put your hands on something. I will be a forever student, and I'm okay with that. I will always be learning and growing and pivoting and sharpening. Um, However, there's this concept that I have shared before, and I will continue to share because it's one of my favorites. But when you're training someone, maybe it's a member of your team, a new employee, maybe it's your child, speaking of back to school and getting the kids back, right? Um, there's this idea, this concept of tell, show, do, review, right? So when you're teaching someone a new concept, you tell them, right? We're hitting that auditory learner who needs to hear it. You show them how to do it, right? Maybe they need to see it. Maybe they're a visual learner, right? So you tell, you show, then you have that student, that person, that team member, that child to do the thing, whatever it is. Put their hands on it and do it. And then you as the trainer, you as the teacher, you as the person with a little bit more knowledge, you review with that person. Tell, show, do, review. This completes, right, our cycle. And you may have to do that cycle a couple of times, a few times, right? Tell, show, do, review. But there's so much power in hitting all of these different learning styles, right? And so for us, I'm gonna put myself in that category. For the people we're forever learners, forever students, we love to consume information, right? We want to know everything that we can about how to do something before we actually do the thing. I encourage you, I challenge you to break out of that cycle. I challenge you to, yes, consume the knowledge. Yes, ask the questions. Yes, observe. Yes, all those things, but let's go do some stuff. Let's do some activity that is going to help us seal in what we've learned, expose what we still don't know, right? And give us the opportunity to produce better questions, right? Because sometimes you don't know what you don't know. You don't even know what to ask in a certain scenario until you've tried some stuff, you did some stuff, you maybe even fallen on your face, got back up, said, I might need to do that a little differently. Let's review this. Let me grab my trainer, let me grab my mentor, let me grab my teacher, and let's review and see where something went wrong. Y'all follow? Y'all with me? Is that making sense? Do you agree? Disagree? All right. Y'all know, for those who are friends of the show, thoughts and feelings and theories, the tricks, tips, and tidbits shared here on the Hospitality Hacks Pro Show are mine and mine alone. They do not represent any other organization, entity, or otherwise. Okay. But learning is overrated. Let's get some activity popping. Again, I'm excited. School is starting. Here's what I personally, y'all know I'm sharing my journey, right, as we go along. And every year that I've been teaching has been completely different than the previous year. I think that's part of what allows me to remain excited. I love a challenge. I just told y'all, I shared with y'all, I love to learn, right? So I learn something new every year. I'm presented with new challenges every year, and I feel good about that. Like, I'm excited about that. That is a turn on for me. All right. That is a good thing for me. So how I'm approaching this year, all right, school starts for us. This is gonna air, actually, at the time this is airing, school started today. Today is the first day of school. All right, because this is a pre-recorded episode. Today is the first day of school. So here's how I am approaching, I won't even say the whole school year. Well, no, yeah, I mean, I'm thinking macro and micro, right? So I'm thinking about the whole school year, but specifically kind of first semester, first quarter. But I'm trying to map out in my mind, all right, what do I want this year to look like, right? And so I pulled up the school calendar. Let me see. All right, y'all can see it. That allows it to not be a glare. Why is it cricket though? Hold on. You get the drift, right? School calendar has the whole year mapped out, including teacher work days, including our annual leave days, holidays, when the quarter start, when it ends, all of that stuff, right? So for those who are on the audio experience, I appreciate y'all. I'm just showing my folks on YouTube just a little brief uh peek at the school calendar for 2023 2024. All right, so for our school calendar, we've been having, even though the students are not back yet, we've been having some trainings and things like that for teachers, and so we are already back even though students are not back yet, right? So our school year runs from the end of August to about early June. So we've talked about forecasting on this show a bit. But that's what my mind is thinking through. Okay, how can I forecast what this school year is going to look like based on previous years? Now, is it going to be exactly the same as previous years? Nope. Right? But I can plan as much as possible around the holidays, plan as much as possible around the beginning of the quarter, the end of the quarter. That's when my, new students are coming and going, right? What are the big events that happened that we were asked to cater for last year, right? We catered prom. We did stuff for senior week. We did stuff for different cultural celebrations, right? Black History Month and Hispanic Heritage Month, right? And so I'm thinking through, all right, what are the things? And I don't have it in front of me right now, but I literally looked at our catering calendar from last school year as well, because we started using a calendar last year, because we really started, that's last year's when we really started going heavy on catering, right? So I'm looking at the calendar, thinking ahead. How can I stay a few steps ahead, right? How can I plan as much as possible for the things that I know are going to be coming our way? You should be doing that same thing in your operation, right? Again, you can't plan for every single thing, but let's get our hands dirty. Let's get some activity. Let's figure out, all right, what do I know is coming my way? All right, maybe you're just getting started. and it's a blank slate and you're not sure, don't let that stop you. Let's get out of the learning phase and let's get our hands dirty. Let's take notes on everything that happens, right? Whether that's written notes in some type of journal, whether that's a Google Doc where you can update, maybe your team can throw stuff in. Maybe that's through a Slack channel if you have multiple people on your team that need to all work together and see the same thing at the same time. Whatever the case, right? However you do it, as long as you do it, right? That's what counts. All right, that's what counts. So back to school time. Let's get it. Thinking about the calendar, thinking about forecasting, controlling the things that we can control, right? The little green notations on the calendar is where we're going to be getting the mobile unit going. All right. So you may have seen the episode where we did a tour of the mobile trailer. Okay. And let's see, what episode was that? That was episode 36. So if you haven't watched that, it's go ahead and watch that. Episode 36. You can see kind of what we started with, right? We've done some work since then, some electrical work, nothing cosmetic yet. So nothing to make it cuter yet, but things that are necessary before the health department comes in to inspect, right? So some electrical stuff, did some stuff with the water lines and things of that nature. So over the summer. So the mobile trailer is going to be used as a teaching tool for students on how to run a mobile food business. Here's the thing. So I'm sharing this information with you all and my thought process with you all, but I'm also talking to myself. When I say learning is overrated, let's get into activity mode, because there is no blueprint that I have seen as to date to show me how to do this. And when I say show me how to do this, I'm not talking about running a mobile food unit specifically only. I'm talking about doing it as a teaching tool, right? So it's different than just saying, yep, I'm going to open up a food truck, open up a trailer so I can make some money and put it in my pocket. That's not the goal. The goal is to open it up as a teaching tool and allow the students to run it, which can, I anticipate there's going to be some slight bits of anxiety because I like things to be a certain way. But when you're teaching in a teaching environment, everything is not always perfect. Even in the real world, everything's not always perfect. So imagine that, right? So in a teaching environment, working with students, high school students, some whom have never worked in a food and beverage environment, most have never. There's a lot of challenges, also a lot of rewards. Okay, and so I haven't encountered a blueprint for this, and so I'm going to be documenting as we go along, sharing as we go along, as I always do. But I'm going to plan as much as possible to control the things I can control, and we going to rock with it. And we going to rock with it. We're going to have fun. There's going to be learning. There's going to be eating. There's going to be failures, losses, also known as lessons. Also known as lessons, right? So the importance of planning is key. But I don't want it to be a hindrance. Again, I'm talking to myself too, y'all. I didn't come to preach at y'all today. I'm talking to myself too. Planning is important. Activity is more important. Learning is important. Activity is more important because there's some things we're not going to be able to figure out until we get in and do it. Again, we don't know what we don't know. There's some things that's like, oh, I didn't anticipate that. There's no way I could have anticipated this. And we just got to get in there and get dirty. Okay. If you've never forecasted before, it is literally the idea of taking past experiences and projecting them into current and future circumstances, right? Talk about it a little bit more on episode 34. But looking back at, okay, this happened last year, last quarter, last month, whatever the case, right? Now, let me try to use that information to figure out what's going to happen next month, next quarter, next year. It's not a perfect science. So it's a little bit of data analysis with a sprinkle of common sense and a dash of it's going to be okay. With a dash of it's going to be okay. No matter what way things swing, we may have to pivot, we may have to adjust. That's okay. It's going to be okay. Okay? So do more of the thing versus planning to do the thing. Sometimes we become so inundated with trying to have everything exactly perfect, every I dotted, every T crossed, right? Everything in perfect position, every person in perfect position, that we become paralyzed. And we might not even see it as like, oh, I'm paralyzed or I'm fearful or I'm unsure. We don't even look at it that way. We look at it as, oh, I want everything to be perfect because this is how I want to represent and da da da. We look at it as a positive. Me too, y'all. In my mind, I'm like, man, I really, the trailer is there, is operational to a point, but I really would love to get it wrapped so it can look nicer on the outside. I really would love to have our POS set up and ready to go. I'm still deciding which one we should use. I have a demo scheduled. It's taking a little longer than I anticipated to get that cranked out. And I really would like this. I really would like that. But let's use what we have. Let's get the activity popping. If you're able to do any type of activity, get that going. It's going to be all right. Remember that Dasha, it's going to be okay. That's where we are, y'all. It's going to be all right. Keep pushing forward. Keep taking that next step. Even if it's feels slow, one step at a time. One step at a time. Keep that forward movement. Keep the forward momentum. You got this. We got this. All right. Don't allow yourself to become stuck in the learning phase. Don't become stuck in the learning phase. So we're going to have Food Truck Fridays coming up. That's what those green dots represent on the calendar. All right. It's not going to be every Friday. Okay. The first month of school, we're going to kind of still be getting things rolling. So you see, here's the thing about the pivots. I had to cross one out. I said, we could squeeze in a little intro, because I would like to make it somehow consistent. I'm like, oh yeah, this every second and fourth Friday of the month sounds good. But then I was looking at it like, I'm gonna have brand new students. Let's give them a chance to get acclimated. I'm not gonna do anything the first month. We're gonna wait till October, right? And so it's okay to adjust your plan as you go along. As you think through this process, as you consult with your team, as you think through what, again, your past performance, it's okay to make adjustments. It's actually necessary to make adjustments. If you're not making adjustments, you're probably not thinking about the data enough, right? And so make a plan to get into activity mode, to stay in activity mode, adjust as needed, whatever the case, whatever it takes to get those L's in and out and to keep that momentum going. That's my word of the day today. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. Click that follow button or subscription button. Click the notification bell, my folks on YouTube. Please share this with a friend. Thank you for those who have been sharing. I appreciate you with friends, family, colleagues, frenemies, whoever who you know that either are in the culinary arts and hospitality space or are interested in the culinary arts and hospitality space, teaching in general, or entrepreneurship or starting a small business, right? I love to connect. I love to have, again, conversations with people in and around this space. If you're not following on Instagram, do that. All right. And speaking of books and speaking of learning, if you haven't yet got your copy or copies of Above Average Service 10 Keys to Unlock Repeat Guests and Increase Sales for Your Restaurants, co-authored by yours truly and my sister, my lovely sister who's been in the industry as long as I have, go ahead and get that link somewhere below on the side or whatever. And y'all know I always ask, what do y'all think about that? What do y'all think about that topic? Learning is overrated. I didn't say it wasn't important. I didn't say it wasn't necessary. I didn't say I don't believe in it, but it can be overrated. We stick sometimes in learning mode as an excuse to avoid activity. Sometimes we stay in learning mode as an excuse to not take the next step because we're unsure, we're afraid, we're unclear, we're unmotivated, we're whatever your is, whatever your is, right? Don't let it hold you back. Don't let it stop you. Let's get popping. If you have questions, comments, and or concerns, I'm always open and welcome. And welcome them. Let's talk. What are your thoughts on this topic? I'll see you next week on the Hospitality Hacks Pro Show. Thank you for tuning in. We out.